Good evening. We welcome you to our City Council meeting. We'll begin with the statement on holding an electronic meeting. Pursuant to Utah Code, West Valley City has determined that this meeting will be held electronically without an anchor location given the ongoing novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. West Valley City has determined the pandemic presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those who may be present at an anchor location. This meeting will be held electronically. Members of the press and public are invited to view this meeting live on YouTube at www.youtube.com/user/WVCTV. Public comment period will be had during this time for those who previously registered to get information on sign in to the meeting. All right, we note that all council members are participating in this electronic meeting. And with that, then we'll go to our Inside the Video series.
Check their breath. Has it stopped? CPR.
Call 911.
Start CPR. Hard and fast. Push this far. CPR. Lift back up. All the way. Heart fills up. CPR.
Just keep going.
Hard and fast. Help is near. You did great. CPR.
You saved our life.
Start CPR. It saves lives. It saves lives. CPR.
If a person suffers a cardiac arrest, they're as much as 3 times more likely to survive if you start CPR right away. You don't need to be certified. Hands-only CPR is easy to learn, easy to do, and it works. Here's what you do. First, check the person over. If they're not responding and not breathing normally or gasping, their heart has stopped working. There are only 2 steps you need to know. First, call 911. Then, put the bottom of your hand in the middle of their chest. Lock your fingers together, knuckles up. Push down hard and fast, about 2 times every second. That's about the same beat as this song. Push down at least 2 inches and let your hands come all the way back up. Press down to get blood to the brain. Lift back up to get blood to the heart. Don't worry about hurting the person. Just keep going until help arrives. Remember, when an adult or teen collapses, check them over. Are they awake? Are they breathing normally? If the answers are no and no, then go. Call 911 and start CPR. Your quick action gives them the best possible chance to survive.
CPR.
Well, thank you. Fun video. but a very important one. Next are minutes from February 2nd. A motion on the minutes.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
Second.
Then without objection, the minutes will be approved. Hearing no objection, the minutes are approved unanimously. With that, then, we have our public comment period. Ms. Gammack, I think we have several people online, and they've all been informed of the time limitations, etc.
Yes, sir.
And we have 3, is that correct?
We had 3 people sign up, but it looks like just 2 people are here for the general public comment period. And then we do have 1 person to speak to one of the public hearings.
All right. Let's begin with the 2 then.
Okay, first off, we have Jim Bisock.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I like the information on the Bangor Highway. I've been following it since you guys have started doing it. And I may have said that wrong. I tend to say the highway name wrong. And I agree with you and Councilman Bueller. You guys talked about, double decking and stuff like that. Yeah, it's nice to go in with the suggestion, but I think we all know UDOT's kind of going to do what they want to do, unfortunately. I hope it has the least effect to the citizens, because if it was my house, I know I wouldn't want, to lose my house. But, it is progress and it is important. I was out on 56 tonight. Man, is it packed, so we want to have the off ramps, on all of the streets to help take the burden off of some of these other areas. And it's, our city, there's a lot of people living in it. So, like I said, I agree with Councilman Bueller. I think 133,000 may not have went to what was originally talked about several months ago before you guys approved the money. But having something is better than nothing, and having, UDOT say, well, we're going to do it this way, just like everyone else, and cookie cutter it. So hopefully the money and the input that we got will help have some changes, and make it have the least impact on the residents of West Valley City. And very cute video to the PR department. That was very cute. Stay safe, stay strong. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. And Nicole, who's the next one?
Next, we have Mike Rigdon.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I think the 4100 highway is still a big question mark in my eye, especially in between the 4400 west and 5400 west. We own this street. UDOT doesn't own the street. UDOT doesn't tell us how to build roads. I'm just frustrated with the fact that because of money, the road was made to be applicable because of money. This is the amount of money that was used, and this is the amount of money that we had at the time. And does that mean that safety is no longer a priority? You go down this particular area, it's very narrow. It's wider, the street is wider, but there's no safety lines on the road. no safety barrier, a solid white line. If you go west and you go east of that particular area between 4400 west and 5400 west, we have a solid white line. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And the engineer clearly makes it that safety is not a priority on this particular highway. We're going to get more and more traffic. As a caller just called in before, this is just the begin. If you had real vision, you would be able to see that this particular part of the highway is going to be unsafe for people like me that live in this area. We are going to have casualty. It's not safe for people to walk on the sidewalk. It's not safe for cyclists to even ride on the sidewalk. You've got great big blocking devices that when you come out of these subdivisions and enter 4100 South Highway, you can't see. And the only way that you can see is if you pull all the way out of your car and then you block, somebody that's walking or anyway, you block the lane. It just means that the traffic in this area is just going to go up more. Depreciation values of the homes are going to go down. I guarantee that if you own a home because of this highway that you've built, depreciation values of these homes are going to go down. And on top of that, it's going to cost the city more to repair this road because you have just allowed more traffic. Think of the word applicable and integrity, health and safety. Now, I'm going to fight this battle as long as I can because I can see the future and I can see that what's going to happen is that there are going to be casualties. There are people's lives that are going to be lost. One note, last week we were discussing about seniors and we were talking about senior development and zones and stuff like that. And one of the things that on these senior developments that you use the word, the federal government decides what is a senior. And Ron, what is a senior in West Valley City? That's a good question because you know what? 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I wanted to have a senior citizenship at the West Valley complex, but they said I had to be 65 years old. That's kind of like a double standard. In the West Valley City, if you want a discount, you have to be 65 years old. But if you live in a housing development, you can be 55.
Thank you very much. Some interesting points. And that is, that third person didn't come online, did they, Nicole?
Mayor, it looks like we do have somebody here named Jessica. I'm not sure if she's here for our general public comment period, but can I allow her to speak in case she is?
Yes.
Jessica, you can unmute your microphone.
Hi, I am not here for the public comment section. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So Nicole,
Thank you.
You just work that out. We'll check
Yes,
then. We'll close the public comment portion. We'll go now to our Assistant City Manager. Any comments?
No, Mayor, not this evening. Thank you.
To our council, any comments? Okay. With that, then we'll go to the next item on our agenda, which we have two public hearings. We'll begin with the first one, which is application ZT-10-2020, filed by the city This is a change to our outdoor events centers. And this one will relate specifically to a regional shopping mall as a conditional use in the C2 zone. In conjunction with that, we will consider Ordinance 21-04 as the method to modify our code. This particular request at the Valley Fair Mall, obviously a lot of people are there. They've held events, of course, inside, but they want to expand. They do occasional items a couple of times a year, which is allowed to do those events more often, where there are third-party vendors like car shows or something, and then also events that they would sponsor like concerts, outdoor movie nights, fairs, and so forth. These will typically be up to a couple hundred people. So smaller events, and obviously they're somewhat limited in the space they have there. So this process would allow them to hold more events, but each individual event would still have to be approved for security, safety, etc., those types of things, and what they're actually doing there. So this proposal would allow that change. With that introduction, council members, any comments on clarifying anything there? If not, then we'll turn to Ms. Kamek to see if anyone is here to speak to this issue.
Yes, sir. We do have one person, Casey Bulkley.
Okay.
Casey, you should be able to unmute your microphone now.
Yes, thank you. I can. I appreciate it. I just wanted to quickly speak on behalf of this this proposed change. You know, I wanted to reiterate that the emphasis and the focus on what we are attempting to do is really community-based family events. These will not be revenue-generating events. We don't charge for them. Because of that, we also don't want enormous expense. So we recognize that, you know, to exceed 100, 150 people, we have to have additional security. We have to have additional, you know, restrooms and parking and everything else brought in, which is additional expense. And so that's not the focus. And I think all of the events such as Father's Day, the mini golf or Bubble Bash or Easter egg hunts, you know, or even bringing in the vans, the medical vans to do free eyeglass exams for children before school and things like that. These are all things that we want. I think the questionable events, I think where we all had to clarify and articulate what we were looking for was when we say things like music and concerts and those things. And I want to add that we don't have anything on the schedule yet. Yes, we've discussed it because we'd like to have that option in the future, but not where the concert's the central focus. It would still be around a gathering. It would still be like background or jazz or, you know, something like that. We're not about to try to turn Valley Fair into a concert center. It's counterproductive to what we're trying to do over there. So just wanted to add a little bit of clarification on that. And of course, answer any questions if there were any regarding this proposal.
Council members, any questions? I don't hear any, so thank you very much.
Mayor, we do have an additional speaker who would like to speak. Jim
okay.
Visock.
All right.
There you go. Hey, am I unmuted now? I came up twice.
Yes, you're unmuted now, so go ahead.
Okay, it came up on my screen twice. So I personally like this idea as long as we or as the city, you guys, and if I heard everything right in the study meeting, they have to come present a plan, and there's certain things. So as long as it's not just free reign for them to do whatever they want, because just because they don't have concerts planned now, if this opens it up where they don't have to go through the norm procedures and they can have big concerts, I'd be concerned for the neighborhood. But having more events, drawing more people down to Valley Fair, to that whole area, I think is a great thing. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Whoops, sorry.
Oh,
I-
go ahead.
No, I pushed the thing to raise my hand again for Nicole, sorry.
All right, then Nicole, that's everyone.
Yes, sir, that's everyone.
Okay, then we'll close the public comment portion. We'll come back to the council for any further discussion, motions, or whatever.
I just want to say thank you to Casey. He's brought up his clarification about this West Valley City Mall here, and it's a great. So I just want to move forward. So with my approval, Ordinance 21-04.
Second.
Properly before us, hearing no further comments, we'll turn to our city recorder for the roll call vote.
Councilman Fitty Simonu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Next, we have another public hearing. This is GPZ-8 2020, filed by the city. General plan change. This will include ordinance 21-05 and 21-06. This is the area at 3060 West, 3650 South, about 6.7 acres. Back in, it was 2016, this was approved for discussion for a change. There was going to be some work done there. Salt Lake County was involved. That did not come to fruition. There still may be something in the future, but it's going to be significantly different. At the time, we had changed these and it included several parcels of ground. The proposal here would change these back to what they were originally zoned, so that since we're starting over, this would help. And since it involved multiple pieces of property, this just gets everything back to where we were, I believe. And we'll start with any new proposal at the beginning. With that introduction then to the council, any further clarifications before I open the public comment? Hearing none. Nicole, do we have anyone on hand? We'll open it for them if there are. I think there was
No, sir.
one. Nope. Okay. No one here to speak to that. With that, we will close the public comment portion and bring it back to the council.
I would move for approval of ordinance 21-05.
Second.
Properly before us, not hearing any further comments, to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fitty Simonu,
Aye.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Still in the council's possession?
I would move for approval of ordinance 21-06.
Second.
Properly before us, hearing no further comments, to our city recorder for the vote on this motion.
Councilman Fitty Simonu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. Next, we have ordinance 21-07. This is to amend requirements applicable to alarm systems. What we have a course code, and we try and keep it in line with international fire code, etc., for wiring alarm systems. And we did an amendment for NFPA 72, for which has the comprehensive code requirements for alarm systems. And things changed there. So we're doing this amendment to get back in line. The thing that we did before is no longer required. Other things were clarified. So this just gets us to where we need to be on these. Somewhat of a technical change just to keep us in line with those national standards, etc. With that then, to the council.
Move to approve ordinance 21-07.
Second.
It's properly before us. Hearing no further comments, to our city recorder.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Bueller.
Aye.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, next we have on our agenda Resolution 21-24. This is to ratify the city manager's appointment of Steve Pastorick as Community and Economic Development Director. And this is a pretty straightforward situation. We've had a number of changes on our staffing and reorganizing some our executive staff. And so these appointments need to be ratified since he'll be a director of a department. With that introduction then, to the council.
Move for approval of resolution 21-24.
Second.
It is properly before us. Again, we will go to our city recorder for the roll call vote.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Bueller.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
With the passing of that resolution, we will at this time turn some time over to our city recorder and have our new director sworn into his role into the office. So we'll turn that over to Nicole.
All right, Steve, if you can just raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good, Steve. Next, we'll go on to the second of these. Oh, was Steve wanting to give a speech or something? I saw he had his microphone off.
Why not?
Okay. Resolution 21-27, excuse me, wrong one. Resolution 21-25 is to ratify the city manager's appointment of Kobe Wilson as city engineer. And so don't need too much. This is similar changes in staffing, requirement that they be ratified and sworn in. So to the council.
Move for approval of resolution 21-25.
Second.
Properly before us, hearing no further comments, to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And the same situation here. We'll turn to our city recorder for the official part of getting him into this role.
All right, Kobe, if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. Welcome to that new assignment, which you're already heavily involved in.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. With that then, let's see. Sorry, this being electronic, sometimes things pop up on my screen and I have to make sure it's not saying we're going to shut you down or something. And that was just a notice. So let's go to our consent agenda. We have 4 items on our consent agenda. They are all similar in nature. Resolutions 21-26, -27, -28, -29. These 4, they are easement purchase agreements, perpetual easement, and temporary construction easement for 4 properties on 2700 West. Of course, these technically the address is on a street next to that. These are the backside of their property on 2700 West. And these are in preparation for work that we will be doing there on the street. We have had these before. We'll have more of them in the future. This is just a preliminary part of getting this work started. With that introduction then to the council, any further comments? If not, a motion.
I move for approval of the 4 items on the consent agenda.
Second.
Properly before us, hearing no further comments, to our city recorder for the vote.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fatisamanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
We do not have a reason or a need for a closed session. That concludes our agenda. If there are no final comments, then we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn is proper. This, without objection, then we will stand adjourned. Hearing no objection, the voting is unanimous. Again, thank you, and thank you to those who have been listening in. Stay healthy and stay safe.